Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Monday, January 17th. We're going to take a look at BBLN Holdings. So BBLN, since it came on the scene, ran up to 16 and now is sitting in the $6 level. I mean, honestly, nothing that a lot of growth or earlier stage stocks aren't dealing with at this point. So I would certainly just keep that in perspective. But I look at this previous downtrend resistance that it was caught under for quite a while. It did a good job consolidating itself out of here. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos and I warn about movements that break downtrend resistance and then just continue to follow that down, take note of what happened with BBLN here. BBLN had a nice break, and yes, it drew down a little bit, but it kept stabilizing, right? And then even had a nice attempted push up, right? It had +7, +7. And then, yes, it drew back down further, but it hasn't made a significant drop since then that's put it sort of in close proximity to this previous downtrend resistance. So this is so far a good example of something that was able to consolidate its way out of downtrend resistance and is now starting to act a little bit more independently, independently meaning independent from that downtrend resistance, which, like I said, the opposite of that would look like it coming out, and it could even make a nice move like this. And maybe here it decided to put in a few very, very red days, and then it gets just in close proximity to this downtrend resistance again and just starts following it down just outside versus under. And that can be obviously just as much of a problem. Okay, so back to BBLN. So some obvious things here that jump out, right? This current resistance level around 691, and you see that picking up as previous support here, resistance there as well. And that to me, obviously pretty strong level. And then here again, I know this is sort of obnoxiously tight, and these sort of take up these candles, but here right around 650 we'll call it, right? So we'll basically say 650 to $7. It would do itself potentially a lot of good to consider building a range or consolidating between 650 and 7. Maybe it was just for a couple of days or something, but it could be for significantly longer, and sort of just continue to stabilize the price in ranges that are outside of this downtrend resistance and don't necessarily intersect with previous particularly egregious resistance levels. I think that would be very, very good for the potential for this stock to then have a range break to the upside. And I don't know if it did consolidate between 650 and 7, if it would actually break above 7 and hold, and then have potential for breakout or continue potential for trend reversal. I don't know. It could then break to the downside and come back down to 6 and 550 and who knows what. But it at least gives traders an opportunity to watch it maneuver and move within that range, and then look for a range break and see what happens when that range break comes. See if it's starting to break out, see if it's starting to reverse trend, what have you. Now, the other possibility here is that it could put in a little bit of a cup and handle, right? And so if that's the case, then maybe this is the cup and maybe this is the beginning of the handle. What I would look for is for it to probably not whittle off more than, would this be $1.50? So maybe around 75 cents. So maybe here around, say, 625. I wouldn't want it to really dip much below right around here, I would say, to put in a handle, right? If it comes down and it can't hold like that 625, 620 level, could mean that it's just kind of coming back down to retest this like 550-ish bottom, or one of these other bottoms, maybe closer into $6. But it could right now be putting in a nice cup and handle, and that could provide some nice projectile possibilities in the future. But to my mind, like I said, it's good that it's worked itself out of this downtrend resistance. Good sign there. Nice that it just has some distance, and nice that it's starting to put in some new patterns and seeing what it does with these patterns. But that's still sort of in a broader sense puts a trader in kind of a wait and see situation. in my opinion, whereby you're kind of waiting to see, is it going to range bound itself between 650 and 7? Is this going to be a cup and handle and it's going to kind of blow through 7 and really take off? Is it going to actually lose support of these levels and just continue to draw down further, under the pain of much of the other similar areas of the market? So, that's my take on it at the moment. I don't have a position in Babylon, but if I were to consider one, I would just kind of wait and see what of those, general possibilities it might engage in. The other thing is here we could see where it's situated with the EMAs. Okay, so EMAs obviously in a fully bearish arrangement at the moment, with the 50 on top, 34, and then 12 below, but it's trying to sustain support over the 12 and then wrestling with the 34 at the moment and butting its head against the 50. And so if it's able to continue to make some motion up there, we could see some bullish crossing, 12 crossing above the 34 and the 50 and so on and so forth, and that could give it a really nice lift opportunity. So, being that it's interacting directly right now with the brunt of the EMAs, meaning that middle one, the 34, I'd pay close attention to see what it wants to do. With respect to those, that should be a strong indication of, like, does it just shove right off and start to come back down further? Does it continue to just move sideways, or does it actually get some lift? And that could be maybe the strongest indication of what's going to happen. The 180 MA also is not that far above. I mean, I know percentage wise, like $9 is quite a big percentage change, but with something like this, where it had this really erratic movement, sometimes you pull up that MA and it's like up here at $14, and you're like, holy smokes, it's got a long way to break out of this, more 30,000 foot view bear trend, that it's in. But this one, has the opportunity to interact with, like I said, these EMAs at the moment, and that MA is not too far away. So really good opportunity for Babylon, in my opinion. What it's going to do with it is to be seen, and this week and the coming weeks ahead should tell a lot of that tale and sort of get things in alignment for what it wants to do with its next, say, few months or so. All right, folks, I'm happy to come back if folks are interested in, future videos as we get some clarity in some of the motion here and try to sort of decipher what's happening and put some ideas around it. Can you tell my ability to form words is not so strong today? All right, folks. Appreciate whoever requested this one. Good to look back at Babylon and see something that's not just purely getting crushed at the moment. I've been sort of fielding too many of those charts for the time being, and it can be a little bit depressing, to be honest. All right, folks. I hope that your trading week gets off to a good start tomorrow, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.